Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to Wrestler Weekly Presents. This is episode 2, and I'm excited about this episode. It's 1977, my signed magazines from that year only. I have 10 magazines that I want to spotlight today, and I'd like to give a little shout out to Bobby Norton and my brother Reggie Richardson, and a lot more of you who chimed in and really were excited about the first episode. One more shout out to my man Mike Leotis. And so really appreciate the love and support, and looking forward to many more episodes. I got my trusty tripod ready to go. If that's what it's called, who knows. But it's a nice stand to help me in this episode. And so without further ado, let's jump right in. And by the way, I'm going to have these episodes as if, I just got these in the mail, and I invited you guys over to take a look and enjoy them with me. So without further ado, I know you'll love this first one. And by the way, I've got my trusty box from episode 1 where I talked about I picked those up. You can go back and look at episode 1 and see where you can get those. But this first one is really a special one to me. If you remember, on the back of old wrestling magazines, back when they would spotlight wrestling album number 4, and they would put a little collage of wrestlers together that had their championship belts. Well, this was one of them, and at the time as a kid, and I wrote this in my book, which should be coming out soon, Family Bacon Wrestling. And so I put this in there, but it's one of those things where you had those little capsules, those little, if you remember the little magazines, the back issue capsules. Well, I used to take a magnifying glass and try to blow it up and really see what I was missing. But on the back of those wrestling magazines, when they previewed the mail-in order for wrestling album number 4, all those little collages of that one collage of all the wrestlers, those were covers. Those were magazine covers. And man, I remember when I finally got this magazine, and then to have the privilege to get it autographed and personalized. So without further ado, issue number 1 tonight for 1977. This comes from September of 1977, The Wrestler. And as you can see, in all of his glory, with the championship belt, the WWF World Champion Superstar Billy Graham. And as you can see, to Scottie. And I remember this magazine as a kid, and really it just was like, this was my superhero, and just larger than life. And to have him to personalize it was just a real honor. And so, second magazine. This one comes from it's a Wrestling 1977 Annual, number 18. And this one I was able to get last year at a signing. This is Bruno Sammartino with the red leather WWF World title. I did not have this magazine when I met Terry Funk a couple years ago, so maybe in the future I can have him sign this one as well. But this is a really good one with pictured here Bruno, and especially to have these kind of side by side. Look at that. That's awesome with the world title. All right, issue number 3. This is also a 1977, obviously, but this is Wrestling Superstars, and this is also Superstar Billy Graham, and personalized. Again, an honor to meet Superstar Billy Graham and to have him to Scottie, and there it is. Now, this is a great magazine, though, as far as if you want to read one. I go back and read them like I do my old comics. And so I love the kayfabe. I'm still kayfabe and will always be. But this is a really good one. You see the Briscoe brothers on there as well. All right, the next one, this is July 1977. And Inside Wrestling, which is my favorite magazine. And this one's signed by Chief Jay Strongbow. Would have loved to have had Dusty on this, obviously. But this one is signed by Chief Jay, who's no slouch in his own right. So very good magazine, 1977. And I'm going to do something here that I did not do last week, but I'm going to, because I love Inside Wrestling. I mean, that's my favorite. And to be able to go in, I always like to find, here it is, the ratings. I mean, I used to love it, man. I'd look at the front there and look at these three champions. Superstar Billy Graham, Nick Bockwinkel, and Harley Race. Most popular, Andre the Giant. Number one tag team, Bobby Duncan and Blackjack Lanza. And most hated, look at Ox Baker. Yeah, this was the best, man, to be able to open those up and get into those ratings. But I wanted to do that. And as you know, if you follow me on Twitter at Wrestler Weekly, you know that I like to put those out on Fridays for our WW Friday ratings, old school ratings. I love to post those. All right, on to the next one. This again is Superstar Billy Graham. I love this magazine as well. This is August of 1977. Wrestling superstars and the superstar Billy Graham and all the tie-dye. I mean, that guy was unbelievable. What a talker. What a wrestler. Just iconic. The wrestlers that he influenced, the list is a mile long. This is another one, Inside Wrestling. You want to look at this one, December of 77. This is signed by quite a few people, as you can see. Superstar Billy Graham, also signed by Ivan Putski, and then Mil Mascaras there as well. Would have loved to have Andre, but these guys, great here. Superstar Billy Graham, Ivan Putski, Mil Mascaras. A couple more for you. December of 1977. A lot of you love the Wrestler magazine. I always put some of their Friday on the ratings, out on Friday ratings. But this is a good one with the belt. I always love magazines with the belts. Big belt guy. Superstar Billy Graham, red leather, WWF world title. Ric Flair and Wahoo down here. So this is a great read as well. I'm going to move a couple of these magazines off. I have more room here. All right, 3 left. It's the 3 countdown. Here we go. Now this one is awesome, man. This one I had to have shipped from another country. But man, this is one of my favorites. It's got a great story behind it. This one is from Japan. 8-time, as you see, Harley Race signed it. Has the 10 pounds of gold. And good story here. Harley is in, as you know, Missouri. I have a friend of mine, John Repass, shout out. His wife Hillary's family was also near the St. Louis area. And so I worked it out. I called Harley's son Leland, and I shipped my belt and a few magazines. And so Hillary's dad went over to the Harley Race Wrestling School, and Leland and Harley were so gracious and signed about 4 or 5 magazines and my 10 pounds of gold NWA world title. And just an honor to be able to have his signature on this magazine, and this magazine being a rare, this is from April of 1977, the Gong Japanese magazine. All right, 2 left. Speaking of Harley, this is a great one here because this sets up a match. I've got this one is triple signed, and the last 2 are triple signed. This one is signed by Harley Race, Superstar Billy Graham, and Bruno Sammartino. I mean, what 3 legends! I mean, that's all. I mean, this one here, I can't really say a whole lot more about it than it's just awesome. Harley Race, Superstar Billy Graham. This set up the Super Bowl of Wrestling match which I've done quite a bit of research on. People that know me personally know that I'm working on a book about that historic match. I've also put that out on Twitter during a few discussions and chats about some of the most iconic happenings in the world of professional wrestling. But got Bruno to sign this one last year to kind of complete the trilogy there. This comes from December of '77, the Wrestling Superstars. All right, and I'll save the best for last. This magazine is one of my favorites. It is, I only know of one other person that owns this magazine in the way that we have it here. And I say we because my brother and I have been collecting for a lot of years. A lot of you know Reggie. And so this one is from the winter of 1977. It is the 1977 yearbook. And this is signed by Superstar Billy Graham, by Nick Bockwinkel, and by Harley Race. As you can see, this with all three with the belts. You know, this one is fantastic. But Bruno was also in the WWF, but this one has all three titles and signed. And so, I mean, this is a one of a kind. And I like the Bockwinkel belt. If you can see that, this is the one that had the kind of that tan leather that was over the black, and then obviously the red leather WWF title, and then 10 pounds of gold. Harley signs it 8 times as champion. So, hope you enjoyed our 1977 look back of some great wrestling magazines, great reads, and obviously some fantastic signatures. Again, it's always an honor and a pleasure to meet my idols, and I can't say just how humble that I am when any chance I get to meet these guys, these champions, and these just warriors in the ring. So next Wednesday, it'll be 1978. I'm looking forward to that one as well. It was a fantastic year in wrestling. I'm looking forward to letting you into my living room and be able to sit down with me and watch episode number 3 next week. Hope you enjoy episode 2. Hope you enjoy 1977. Give us a like on Facebook. Go to our Twitter account. Go to Instagram. Subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. And as my good buddy Tommy Wildfire Rich loves to say, the line that we all know from Georgia Championship Wrestling, Freddie Miller. Don't miss it. Be there.